So I want to talk about this food box plan that Trump and everybody is supposedly bragging about like it's some great idea or something. I mean, you guys do realize that they already give food boxes to the poor that get food stamps. That's what food banks are. That's what churches do. I mean, you're not doing anything that ain't already being done. And you're just taking more stuff away from the people is all you're doing. And you know, food stamps, not everybody's lived on food stamps their whole entire life. There's actually people out there that's worked their whole entire life that's been disabled to get food stamps. And you pay for that every paycheck you get. You pay into Social Security money, you pay into Social Security insurance, you pay into the welfare program, you pay into Medicaid and Medicare, and all that comes out of your checks when you're working. So it's not a free handout. The only one that gets a free handout are the corrupted politicians and the corrupted leaders that run the country, and all the corrupted huge corporations and the corrupted banking systems. Those are the ones that get the free handout because they steal everything from everybody and they take everything from everybody. This is a big giant game. Those are the ones, they are the problem, not the poor people. You're stealing our money in taxes. You steal our money and our Social Security and midnight raise and you stuff it in your own pocket. It's pathetic. I mean, just a little bit that we could track down, not all of it, just a little bit. You have stolen enough money to give every man, woman, and child, every baby from the first time it's born all the way up to the person on the end of her deathbed getting ready to die, $1 million apiece. And that's just a small fraction of what you've stolen out of our Social Security money. You people are the reason why we have poverty. You're the reason why we have crime. You're the reason why we have disease. This food box you want to push on people, not everybody can eat the same diet. There's a lot of people out there that have health problems. They can't eat the same things you eat. And this wholesale business is bull. All you got to do is just make it so everybody can accept food stamps and not just certain people. Because, you know, you got to sell all of the 5 food groups before you're allowed to even take food stamps. So you can't just go and spend them somewhere where they don't have bread and milk and other stuff, and all they have is vegetables. And farmers can't just take food stamps, you know, or else we wouldn't even need to go to your damn grocery stores. We could just eliminate that stuff because you're the problem. All these huge corporations. It's just another way to pump more GMO products on us so we can't eat organically and save more money to stuff in their own pockets. And it's the taxpayers paying for it. We're the taxpayers. The poor people are the taxpayers. 99% of the population is poor. 99% is the one paying for everything in one way or another, no matter what country you're in. You're paying for it all, no matter if it's through labor or and taxes or whatever they're pulling out to charge you for, just like cars and stuff. You know, yeah. Well, let's go with birth certificate. You know, birth certificate makes you in a corporation. This is how come they can charge you all this money and everything to live because you're incorporated. You're owned by the government because of this piece of paper. It's your bill of sale for your slavery slip for being sold at the auction block at birth. And everybody has to have one. And your social security number is your prison number, you know, and just your driver's license is basically your right of passage to travel, which free travel is in your constitutional right if you're in America. You know, we're not even supposed to have to pay for it. It's like vehicles. Vehicles, you don't ever own a vehicle. You only get a title of use. You don't get the title of origin. The DMV, Secretary of State, or wherever you want to call them in your state or whatnot, or whatever province you're in, they own your vehicles. You get a title of usage, and this is how come they can charge you tags and plates and make you get insurance. And the insurance company, it don't matter if you buy a used car or a new car, if you ain't got a good credit rating, they charge you out the wazoo for insurance. And what does it matter what your credit rating is? I mean, if you don't stay in debt every 3 years, your credit rating is nothing. So you got to stay in debt just to have a credit rating. If you don't have one, they charge you out the wazoo because you don't have one. And it ain't got nothing to do with your driving. I mean, you pay $600 for a vehicle, and you got to pay $1,800 a month just to drive. I mean, a year just to drive that vehicle, just on the insurance. It's not including the plates and the tags and whatnot, and upkeep and repairs. And you don't even own it; they own it. You just get to use it and drive it around, and pretend like you own it. It's insane. It's just all a big game. It needs to stop. We need to stop this. We need to. The only people that have a problem with poor people that want to eat are rich people because they want more because they ain't got enough. They ain't never got enough. More, 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 more. They need another $20 million yacht or another $100 million plane to fly their asses all over the place. $20,000, $30,000 a pop in gas or fuel for their plane, I should say. You know, they gotta buy their girlfriends, $100,000 necklace or something, or pay for an education for their children because their children get way better education than you because you're paying for everything with your blood and your sweat and your backbreaking labors and your taxes and your social security money that they steal. You wouldn't need welfare if they wouldn't do all that and make you throw 50 to 75% of your foods and medicines away. You wouldn't need health care if they wouldn't introduce GMOs into the public. It's making everybody sick with all these chemicals and pesticides and poisons. And you got the crude oil, and then you got the oil, and then you got the gas and the diesel fuel and all the byproducts and the coal and the nuclear waste. That's the problem. And all these corrupted rich people. That's the problem. They're all obsessed with making everybody slaves and work for you. And they created this income and this currency system to keep you slaves. And that's all you'll ever be as long as you follow them. You need to fire them. You need to take them out of office. You need to stop this stuff. It's madness. I mean, they tell you what you can eat. They tell you where you can go. They tell you what kind of medicines you're allowed to take to destroy everything that's good for you. You push everything on you that's bad for you. It's just, it needs to stop. I mean, our world is this, the world is never going to end unless it actually blows up. The world's never going to end. It's just your civilization's going to end. The world's going to be here. It's been here for billions and billions and billions of years, and unless it gets destroyed, it'll still be here. I mean, the end of your civilization is not the end of the world. It's the end of you. It's the end of every living thing on this planet, but it's not the end of the world because the world will heal. The planet will heal itself. And it'll start over again, just like it has, countless times before. Because, you're not the first one here, and you won't be the last. You're just a grain of sand on the beach of eternity. You know what I'm saying? That's it. There's one little grain of sand on the beach of eternity. A blink an eye, and your species is gone. You ain't even been here for that. I mean, time is just within your own concept of your own planet, because it's, your whole time system is set around, your moon and your sun 24 hours and supposedly 365 days a year when it used to be 360 or whatnot. That's your concept of time, but you go on to another planet and it's not the same thing, because they have a completely different setup. Just like, if they don't have a north and a south magnetic pole, then there ain't no north, south, east, or west anywhere. That's what gives us our north, south, and east, and west. We have north and south magnetic poles and whatnot. But when you're in space, you don't have a north, south, east, west in space. You just got, you got the bow, or you got stern, or you got the port side of the ship, or whatnot. Because it's, just like if you're in the water, if you're in space, you don't know if you're upside down or not unless you got equipment to tell you you're upside down. Just like if you were in water, in deep, dark water, you don't know if you're upside down or not. You'd be thinking you're swimming up to the surface, be swimming deeper into the water and not even realize it. Unless you got something to tell you which way's up, which way's down, you can get lost very easily and die. It's just the way it is. So, I mean, everything in the world's got to change. You got to stop this madness and the possession things. And everybody's got to own stuff, and everything's got to have a label. You know, you got to pay for everything. I mean, you got sales tax, tobacco tax, this tax, that, you know, land tax. My God, this never ends. You got fees, fines, penalties, and interest. Let's not forget the interest, because, you know, you ain't got good credit, then you pay high interest. And, you know, the lower your credit score goes, the higher your interest goes. The higher your credit score goes, the lower your interest goes. But if you don't stay in debt, then eventually it's just going to go away and you're going to keep paying high interest. I mean, everything is designed to keep you in debt, to keep you poor, to keep you starving, to keep you wanting, to keep you slaves, weak, so you can't defend yourselves, sick, so that you can keep better control and manipulate you better, and dying because they keep telling you you're populated when you're not. I mean, it's just all about control. It's all it is. I mean, you know, weaker you are, the easier you are to push around. The less educated you are, you know, the easier it is to make you believe stuff that ain't true. I mean, if you were really educated and really super intelligent, you could realize you were slaves, and you know, intelligent people don't want to be slaves. So hence the forbidden knowledge. You know, they don't want you to have knowledge, and they keep lying to you, and they keep, you know, propaganda and stuff make you fight against each other. So you know, you keep yourselves in that area. You keep yourselves slaves. It's like your ancestors before you. And if you don't rise up and change it and fire these people and put them in prison like they are, you know, put them on a prison island. They can live there for the rest of their lives, you know. You can have a nice little comfortable place where they can grow their own food and everything. It ain't got to be like they treat us, you know. You put them in a nice, decent place, and just, they can't leave. They'll have to stay there forever and ever and ever more, because, you know, we need to get them out of our society. That's what's wrong with them. They're like a cancer, and they're just eating away, you know, and they're destroying everything. They're destroying us, destroying our environment, they're destroying all living life on the planet, you know. So, you know, the planet will heal, but the rest of us will be gone. So, I mean, if you want your descendants for the future, your grandchildren, your children, and grandchildren, great grandchildren, you're going to want something better for them. Don't leave them a toxic wasteland for a legacy. It's just, you can't do that. You know, we need to change. We need to go green. Like I've been telling you, you know, we need to get these rapist priests that are supposed to be, you know, good people. Well, they need to be locked up. I mean, we can't just let them pay their way out. When you do stuff like that, you got to be removed from society. I mean, that's just, it's a disease that needs to be taken out and thrown away. You know, not thrown away, but put on an island away from society so it can't affect anything else. You know, that's just what you got to do. And we need to all come together. I mean, everybody needs to work together. Right? You know, we can make the world a better place, and we can change it. You know, we can have perfect balance between green energy and Mother Nature, like it always was, like it was in Atlantis. You know, I mean, it was a perfect balance of both. You know, we got to get rid of this toxic stuff. It's just, it's no good, and you got to quit hating people because they're poor. I mean, it's not their fault you're poor. I mean, you're only rich because you're stealing their money, just like your family did. You know, unless you're an actual person that actually works, and you know, you're not a corrupted person like most all the rich people are. But no, you got actors and actresses and singers and musicians and artists and engineers, and you know, you got scientists and biologists, you got architects, you got structural engineers. I mean, all them people right there are actual people that earn their riches. You know, the real doctors, the real scientists, the ones that actually got a clue of what's going on. And the other ones, you know, some of them are trying. It's just not their fault because they were mistaught. You know, what are you going to do? I mean, they got to be retaught. And if you look at my pan plan, you'll see everything's better because I'm taking all the wasted time out in your education. I mean, you spent 13, 14 years just learning the basic stuff. And then you wonder why you got so many people dropping out of school. Well, they're freaking bored off their ass because they're just spinning their wheels going nowhere. There's no reason why your society can't have your children entering a college state of education by the age of 14. I mean, the best time to learn is when you're young. So, I mean, you should be graduating at the age of 20 and starting your life. And another thing, college should be 100% free. If you look at my PAN plan, college is 100% free because I'm hacking all the garbage out that we don't need. We don't need. Everybody can be in and out and be done by the time that they're 20 years old and already starting their work. So, and I got free medical for everybody. And this ain't just America. I'm talking about on a global scale. Free medical for everybody. Free college for everybody. Everybody gets decent housing. Everybody lives decent. Everybody lives clean. Everybody can afford to eat. Everybody can pay the bills and watch TV without paying a fortune because we're going to put a cap on all that. You know, no more of this. If you're living out in the country, my boy, we're going to allow you 20 acres per person up to 100 acres of family, and then even give you the money to invest in getting your farming or whatever kind of small business you want going, because that's what we need to do. We need to build communities up. We need to invest in our small communities. We need to get rid of these huge corporations. If you don't buy stuff from them, they'll go broke. They'll go away, like I told you before. We need to make them go away. They can't run you if nobody follows them. You're only a leader if somebody follows you. If you don't follow them, they're not much of a leader. What they got to do is send the army, and your families are the most in the army. So we need to get rid of them. We need to quit buying this stuff from the corporations and start investing in our community. Start buying stuff from our local community. Start growing, foods in our local communities and having local farmer markets, and raising our own cattle and selling our cattle right directly to the public, and they can take it to the butcher market. That's what I done. I used to go buy my cattle right straight from the farm, and then I take it to the butcher market, and then they charge me to pack and wrap it and stuff or whatever, which I could do myself if I wanted to, but most of the time I was so busy I just didn't have time, so I just take it there and let them do it. Now, more or less, I'm trying to stay on a plant-based diet. There is sometimes I still eat meat because I love hamburgers and I love bacon and stuff, and that's bacon, one of the worst things you can eat, boy. But man, it is delicious. But everybody's going crazy. I mean, you got bacon shakes, bacon this, bacon that, bacon chips. You're going nuts. You need to stop it. Everything that's bad for you is what tastes. It's cheap and it tastes good because they pump it full of chemicals to make it taste good. The artificial flavorings. We need to get back into eating real flavors. I remember when I was younger. You could bite into an apple and that baby would be so damn juicy, so you just squirt all over the place. And man, you could really taste that apple. That was a good tasting apple. Nowadays, you bite into one of their GMO products and it's like eating one of them wax apples out of a wax fruit bowl sitting in the middle of the table for design that your granny used to have a long time ago. That made no sense. Why not just put real fruit there? But whatever. It always had dust and stuff on it. So, hey, your fruit's kind of dusty, Granny. But, whatever. Each their own, Don't mind. I'm not mocking Granny. I love my grandmas, both of them. I loved them dearly. They were mean, but I loved them dearly. They were both witches, but I loved them dearly. If not, they put a curse on you and you know it. Boy, I tell you. But, we need to accept everybody around the world for who they are. We need to change our planet and get things straightened out. We need to invest in our communities, like I was saying. We need to go through, and if you're a building company or a small contracting company, whatever, just get in there and help these people, even if you got to do it pro bono and make a deal with them where they buy a little material at a time and or you just get a whole bunch of them together and show them how to fix their own place or whatever. Or build a little community construction company where you go into a community and you get all the people in that community together and they each all go help each other. 'Cause me and my friends, when I was growing up, I grew up in a military family, in a military community. I still had some, uh, uh, how do I put it, contact with the outside world, but mainly it was just, we just associated this with our own private community because that's just the way it was when we were raised. But me and my friends in this community, whenever we needed something done, we didn't charge each other money. We just all got together, one over there, like we'd have pop or whatever, and sandwiches or whatnot, and we'd all bust it out and get that done, and then next time somebody else needed help, we all went to that person's house, and whenever I needed something done, they all came to my house, and we all worked together as a community, and then you just buy the material, and you're not paying for the labor. Usually, if you got a good community, you got people in there who know how to do everything, so you're getting the experience of professionals and the help of professionals to get the stuff done as cheap as possible. Now, what we're going to do is we need to go through and we need to fix all of our neighborhoods, all of the ghettos, the Bronx, whatever you want to call them, all the little towns and villages and whatnot. We need to fix them all. We need to go through, we need to repair these places, clean them up, make sure these people's got good, decent homes to live in, get some kind of transportation, drive around in or ride in, whatever it takes. Good clean water and hot waters for baths and whatnot, money for clothes and food. And we need to just make sure everybody is taken care of. That's what we need to do. And the only people that's going to have a problem with this are the rich people. And they're only 1% of the population, so who cares what they think? They're sitting around here, they're making all the decisions, and they're charging us all this money, and they're telling us what we can do with our own money, and they're taking less of it, taking more of our money, but giving us less stuff back that our money is supposed to be paying for us. Well, why do we need them to take our money to give us stuff back? What do we need them for? Why don't we just keep our money? Why do we even need money? Why don't we just get rid of money? We just all go back to what we used to do and just trade everything. Everybody grows food and raise animals and whatnot, or make their craft, or, build furniture and build houses, and everybody traded on everything you needed to do. Nobody owned any land. You got the right to have your clan be on that land or whatnot because you were there, but it wasn't actually yours because, let's admit it, you're only a blinking eye in this, in time. So, in your concept of time anyway, and the planets could be here for billions of years after you're way gone. So, what do you own? You own nothing. You can't take it with you. Possessions mean nothing. This is what you need to get out of your head. You need to change the fact that you think you got to be better than somebody else. You don't. You think you got to have more than anybody else. You don't. You think that everything's got to be better than what somebody else has, and it don't. You think everybody's got to think like you, and they don't. You think everybody's got to dress like you. Well, they don't. You think everybody's got to be your color. Well, they don't. Ain't nobody got to be anything other than what they want to be, just as long as it's not perverted and sick and twisted like you are, you see? So, I don't know. The only problem with our world are you criminals that we allow to destroy everything. And then you walk around like you're some big shit. You go scratch your butts and have 2-week-long discussions, all trying to make the better deal for yourself with our money. You got nothing to do with what we're going to get out of the deal. You take away our medical, you take away the Meals on Wheels for the old folks people, you take away food stamps and kick families off of food stamps, and then you brag about how much money you're saving Yeah, well, it's not because you cured a problem. It's because you made more, and you just don't care. What do you care if little kids are living on the streets and stuff, and people starving, or anybody's got clothes or anything? Just as long as you got your big mansions, your $60 million mansions and living. That's all you care about. You only care about the Mercedes Benz or the limousine or the Maserati or the Ferrari or the Porsche or whatever else, the Excalibur or whatever else you got in your garage that means more to you than life and anything. You're not the kind of people that need to be in charge. We need people that respect nature, people that respect life, people that's actually gonna do something to help everybody and not destroy everything. This is what we need. We need it, like in my PAN plan. We need all of our university professors and our top college teachers and our engineers and our artists, and because everything has got to do with what happens in the world, in the universe, and vibration and music, sound, and singers, science. I mean, it's all one big universal family and community. And these are the kind of people that we need running our governments, not these corrupted rich people that just sit there with their pockets open and their fat asses doing nothing but running their fucking mouth and causing more problems. And then they go run behind closed doors because they're too damn scared to back their mouths up. I say what we ought to do is, you got a problem with one of them presidents in the other country, hell, we'll just get out the old boxing ring or whatever, throw your guys' asses in there, and you can go at it, and the rest of us will eat popcorn and hot dogs and watch it. Why we got to spend all these billions of dollars building weapons? We could just stick you two in there, and you could work it out like real men, or women, or whatever. Because, hey, and then we can put that money where it really needs to go, back in the poor people's pocket, not yours. Because you got enough. You're done. We need to get rid of you. You're just disgusting. You're thieves, you're pedophiles, you're rapists, you're murderers, you're terrorists. I mean, come on, that's all you do. You got children in cages? Come on, you're ripping children away from their families because they got a different religion or a different color or some stupid shit. Come from a different geological location, like you own the fucking planet or something. You didn't create this planet. Your ass is just walking on the dirt like everybody else. You're not in charge of nothing. Putting children in cages. Despicable. Despicable you are. Because you're trying to, I know what you're doing. You got your own little private little pedophile farm there. Now you got the kids away from their parents. They'll probably never see them again. Oh, I don't know what happened to them, Like all the homeless people coming up missing. Like a bunch of the kids that came up missing not too long ago out there by, what was it, Arizona. Cement company, a whole bunch of kids were kept out there in cages and stuff, and now they're all gone because they got found out. So you know what they did? They killed them all, just like a few years back. They went in, the CPS went in, took a bunch of people's kids away because supposedly they weren't being good parents, and next thing you know, nobody knows where these kids are. There's 300 kids missing, so they started investigating, trying to find out where these 300 kids went. The CPS took out of their parents' homes to keep them out of danger, supposedly. And then they start finding dead kid bodies all over the place because guess what? The people that took them out sold them to people that were making child pornography. I'm sorry. Child pornography. So, okay, you took the kids out of the parents' home and sold them to child pornography, and then they're dead. So, okay. Yep, that's what our society is. That's what our state and government officials are. And this, the Supreme Court bullshit. Well, guess who hires the Supreme Court? Who puts some people in there? The president appoints appoints who becomes a Supreme Court judge. So you got a criminal appointing judges that are criminals. It's just like this investigation where they just closed it. and supposedly now they're hiding all these indictments out to everybody. Well, guess what? The guy that Trump hired just exonerated and said, hey, my boss didn't do nothing. He just gave me this job. I have no idea what's going on. But, hey, everything's good. At least I think it was the guy he hired. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. Either way, it's all corrupt stuff. It's just to cover their own butts, and they get more money. I mean, just they can get up there and commit treason in front of everybody and just lie about it, and then tell another lie when that lie gets caught, and then tell another lie when that lie gets caught, and then all these stupid supporters, they're like, oh, kissing his ass and everything. It's like the greatest thing in the world. And then I'm sitting there watching this thing when they got black guy, he's crying and talking about how great Trump is, and Trump's kissing these little black kids, and black people are supposed to be giving him stuff. But yet you look at his whole entire history, and that ain't the way it is. It's just, anybody can make a film like that and hire about. The guy's probably crying because Trump gave him $1 million or something to, sell these people out. And the guy's just happy because he's got money. He's not broke anymore. So yeah, he's crying. Oh, Trump's great. Well, fuck yeah, give me $1 million. I think you're great too. Don't mean I mean it, but I'll still tell you you're great because you just gave me $1 million, and I'll go help some people with it. Because that's what I do, It's not that I go help people, I used to pick all my people up for work. That's a lot of money. My people need to go to work. They want to work with me. I'd go pick them up. I mean, all over the place. I'd spend 2 hours going to pick everybody up every morning, then drive to work. And then, I'd pay for all their drinks or whatnot, take them out to dinner, pay them for working. If they needed cigarettes or whatever, I used to buy them cigarettes and stuff, whatever, And then I'd drive them all home and take them back home at the end of the night, spend another 2 hours driving all home. Or if they needed motel rooms because we didn't have to work over for a couple of days and we had to stay out, I'd run in them rooms and stuff. But, these people don't do that. They keep all their money. They don't give it back to their employees. And granted, I had a lot of employees, even though I did that stuff for, still thought that I wasn't a great guy. And I never could understand that, but I guess they just couldn't do the math of it. I don't know. I never had a boss treat me like that. But I always wanted to be better. I wanted to try and treat people decent. Kind of give back to my employees because, your employees are the backbone of your company. Without them, you don't have a company because they're the ones doing everything while you're sitting in the office. Okay, well, United States citizens and all the other people in the world, you're the backbone of your countries. Without you, the countries do not move. Buildings do not get built. Machinery and cars do not get built. Food does not get grown. Nothing happens without you. Now, take this a little while ago, not too long ago, over in Germany, their government decided they were going to raise the gas prices. All right, so they raised the gas prices up a lot. I mean, almost double. Well, the German citizens, instead of letting themselves get screwed over, what they did is they all just got out of their cars and walked home. There was over 1 million freaking cars everywhere, just left abandoned, just sitting on the highways, the roads, congested everything up. Now, are they going to be able to afford to take all these cars and haul them in with tow trucks? No, it'd take forever to haul them cars off with tow trucks. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. The government caved. And they lowered the gas prices back to what it was, and everybody went back to their cars, and they drove home. It was done. Just that simple. Because without us, they are nothing. Without our tax money, they are nothing. Without our money going in and buying their product at their, super big chain stores and huge home repair outlets that are corporate. Without these without us, the corporations are nothing. If you're not working there, they're not making nothing. If you're not buying nothing there, they're not making nothing. They're nothing without you. 99% of the population are the poor. 1% is the rich. But the 99% of the population is what makes everything work. And you have the power. You just got to realize it. These other guys are just employees. They can be fired, and they can be arrested, and they can be put in prison where they all belong, because they're criminal terrorists committing multiple crimes against humanity and destroying our environment, destroying our history, and destroying our, national monuments and our historical monuments and everything around the world, as I have discussed with you on several occasions. I mean, I just have to keep saying it, like the damn Catholic priest and any other priest or any other kind of religious person that molests children or supports rape or supports, their government going in and murdering people supposedly in the name of their God. Because if that's the kind of God that they worship, they're worshiping the wrong kind of God, I think. Because that's not what a god or a goddess would want you to do. They're about creation, not destruction. You know, that's what they have me for. That's what my name is. My real name, because I use a pen name. And this is not because I'm worried about anything. It's just to protect my family, because there's a lot of nut jobs out there to protect my kids and everything else or whatnot. But, the government knows who I am because of the tags that I put on. They know who I am. And my accounts have my real stuff on it, too. It's just my pen name shows up publicly. But anyway, it's just my real name literally translates to Fierce King the Destroyer. I mean, you don't get a name like that by accident. That's literally what my name. Of course, every name has more than one meaning to it. You got to go to the root meaning to find out what it is. My first name also stands for the tree, the lonely tree in the middle of the meadow. I think it is the lonely tree the tree that stands alone in the meadow. Is another version of my first name other than Fierce, but there's a few of them because I'm a laurel tree. Anyway, names and everything, everything's done by design. And I want to get to that right now. Let's move to that real quick while I'm on this. As I told you before, things is civilizations have started over and over countless times, and just like any creation and whatnot, it's got destroyed and started over. But what starts over are the new creations and the new bodies and stuff like that, the vessels. But the entities, your ka, your soul, your energy, what's you, is always reborn, reincarnated. You get reincarnated over and over and over again. And you get reincarnated into these new beings. Some will tell you that you start on a piece of grass or whatnot and work up through insects to animals to humans. And I'm not saying you don't, but you also have other beings too along the way that you inhabit it. Because each one of these life cycles is bringing you closer to your ascending to your enlightenment, to your ultimate goal, which you're going to become. Which you're never going to become as long as you let these guys hold you back, because you're just destroying you is all they're doing. And you need to take charge, and you need to put them in prison. You need to get all this stuff, shut down all these huge corporations, shut down all these huge chain stores and grocery stores and whatnot, and these huge lumber stores, and go back to the old mom and pop stores and the mom and pop sawmills and the mom and pop farmers markets, and buy your milk and your cheese directly from and your meats, and if you eat meats and vegetables and fruits and whatnot, directly from the farmers themselves, and cut out all the middlemen. Then you're going to be saving tons of money, because you're not paying all these corporate places. Like these big corporate grocery stores. They got to pay all the electric and the refrigerators and refrigeration and the employees and everything that's doing everything. And I'm not saying about the employees. Employees are still going to have a job. Don't get me wrong. They're just not going to be working for them guys. They're going to be working for the farmers and the farmer markets and the local community businesses and the party stores and whatnot, the mom and pop stores and the restaurants and whatnot. That's what we need to invest in. No more big super chains and huge corporations. And we need to do something about these banking systems too. Everybody needs to start not keeping their money in them banks, because once they close down, you're not getting it back. And if you look through history, that's happened more than you can count. So, and as I told you before, they control the stock market, so they control when prices go up and down whenever they feel like it. Just like they take your property whenever they feel like it. But you gotta quit, running homeless people down. Like, instead of running them down and calling them and saying their problems, why don't you do something like be a decent human being and help them? You got people going out there trying to feed the homeless, and the cops are taking them to jail. Not too long ago, 12 ladies were out there trying to help the homeless people by feeding them, being decent human beings, trying to help another human beings out. And what do the cops do? These damn terrorists, henchmen, man, they go out there, the corrupt ones or whatever they are. I don't know what they are, but if you're doing that, you're corrupt as far as I'm concerned. And they haul these ladies off because, they spent their own money, which is their decision, to spend their own money to buy food to give to somebody else, which should be their own choice. How are we free? How is this a free country? Because we all we got is rules and regulations, and you can't do anything. You can't even feed the homeless people. Now there's signs. What now? There's going to be signs up. Don't feed the pigeons. So now don't feed the homeless. Let them starve in the street so they can go out and commit crimes. So that way you can throw them in prison because you own the prisons. So you can charge us, the taxpayer, more money to take care of them while they're making your products in prison that you use to put back in your corporate stores to sell back to us, the customers that are the taxpayers that are paying for the prisoners that you got locked up because you wouldn't, you don't let anybody help them. So you're creating crime so you can make more money. You don't care about people. You don't care about children. You don't care if little kids have food. You don't care if kids have an education or if kids got uh, good clothes to wear or not. You only care about what you got and what your family's got. You don't care about ours. So why do we care about yours? Why do we care about your family? Why don't we care about what you got? We're tired of caring about what you got. We're tired about caring about you corrupted rich people of law. Why don't you just go away? Why don't you just leave? We don't need you running our country. We can run our country ourselves. It's we the people. That's our Constitution. We need to uphold that Constitution. We ought to think about the real Constitution, not the one they rewrote, because, the one you see now is not the actual Constitution. They wrote that one, the new one, the one you got now you see a few years afterwards, and added stuff in. Yeah, you don't know that. Yeah. We need to change things. We need to take the rich out of politics and put average people back in charge. Real intelligent people, not thieves and pedophiles and rapists and murderers that just want to create war and death and destruction and take away money from the starving people and from people that are sick from their companies and stuff that they jointly own or have stocks in through their family or whatnot. And they want to shove more money in their pockets. Well, we don't need to shove money in their pockets. We don't need them at all. We don't need them at all. We can do it ourselves. We the people can run our own country. It's time we do. Let's take them guys out of control. I'm tired of seeing, the Bush and the Clintons and the Kennedys or the Kennedys hiding in the bush looking at the Clintons, or the Clintons hiding in the bush looking at the Kennedys, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. It's just, they all need to go. They're all criminals. They all need to go. No more Republicans. No more Democrats. No more liberals. No more labels that pertain like that. Let's just say good, honest people. And I need everybody. I want you all to join the new Global Community Council. Sorry about that. Just move it around. The new Global Community Council. It's in my PAN plan. We need to do that. If you read that, that's just a basic, brief description. It gives you a pretty good idea of what I got thinking. And I know I could do this because it's already been done in several countries before. Just different things being done here and there, but we could bind it all into one big package. Now, Alexander Hamilton, my great 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 uncle, is the one who originally designed the government. A lot of my family's designed governments around the world throughout time and history and whatnot. And I'm designing this one, and it's up to you if you want to get it going or not, because we could really change the world for a really better world if we just got rid of these guys and put my pan plan into action. And everybody would be happy. There would never be anybody starving, no homeless people, no crime, because we're going to get rid of crime. Because if you're not starving and you ain't got to go out and commit crime to survive, then there ain't no crime. But if you got to do whatever you got to do to survive, then you're being forced to commit crime by the real criminals that create crime by forcing you to go do this stuff because, they're in charge and look what you're doing. Why do we want people in charge that, have homeless people? You know, it's not that, you got to kill the homeless people to get rid of them. Let's just not have homeless people. Let's create a world where we don't have homeless people. Let's create a world where we don't have starving people. Let's create a world that don't have slums and ghettos and, poverty. Let's create a world where everybody is healthy and happy and help each other. This is what we need to do. And it's not that hard to think about. Now, all you got to do is just do it. And anybody that don't want to do it, well, they need to go bye-bye. They want to start talking war, ship them off, lock them up. They're a criminal. You want to talk about, what do we got, immigration ban? Lock them up. They're a criminal. Because there is no God and goddesses and stuff did not create no walls or borders or fences on this planet. Humans did. And these lizards did. These corrupted politicians did. These corrupted leaders did. These huge corporations and these corrupted corporations and these corrupted bankers, they're the ones creating all this because they want to keep you separated, like I told you before, because it's easier to control you in smaller groups. You're easier to manipulate, it's easier to kill you in small groups. And now they're going around, they got these cell phone towers and everything that they're installing all over the place. And everybody thinks, we're doing good because we're going to have better reception. But what you're not realizing is on these cell phone towers, they're also installing these devices that can not only mind control you, but they can literally fly your brain, like sending an like an electromagnetic pulse through mechanical systems, because your brain is like a computer, like I've told you before, so it fires off electrical, your synapses fires off the electrical impulses and everything. And so if they send these pulses off, they can literally fry your brain. So now if anybody's causing any problems in a certain area, they got these towers hooked up, all they got to do is flick a switch and they can wipe out everybody within 250, 500-mile radius of that tower. It doesn't matter if it's babies and children and a bunch of innocent people, just as long as they can wipe out the ones they want to get to them, because you're nothing to them. Like I've told you before, they want to kill over 7 billion people. There's almost like 7.6 billion people or something or close to it, and they only want 500,000 or less people left, and now they're creating, I don't even know if they even want them left anymore, because now they've created synthetic DNA by introducing bacteria into this building blocks that they were working on for trying to structure, synthetic DNA. So by introducing this bacteria, they grow 172, I think it was 172 new amino acids that are synthetic. So now they got synthetic humanoids that they can replace you with. So now they don't even need you anymore. They don't even need robots either. They can just grow new synthetic humans, and they're going to be the new slaves, because that's what you were originally designed to be. Was years ago when Enki and stuff, as I told you before, come down here with Enki and Unrel, they were sent here by their father over billions of years to get this planet going and destroy it and restart it, destroy it and restart it as they were modifying life and genetically enhancing the beings and stuff that were evolving here to create slave laborers to mine the mines for the gold. That's why we hold such pressure, price on gold and stuff, is because gold and diamond stuff, you can use that. Diamonds you can use in your laser cutters and whatnot, your crystals and, different kinds of crystals, different things. And, gold, is a really good conductor of electricity, so you can use that on your spaceships and for the electrical or anything else. And plus, if you take and thin it out and put it on the outside, it's a really effective heat shield. And that's what they were doing, is their planet was getting over hot like ours is, from like global warming and stuff that everybody tells you don't exist, but really does. And their planet was getting hot, so they were taking and creating a heat shield out in their atmosphere to kind of keep their planet core. But you got to be careful doing that, because if you do that wrong, you're talking ice age time then. If you talk, you block too much sun out. So you got to be careful doing that stuff. So, you were originally designed to be slaves, but just Enki fell in love with you, he didn't want you to be slaves. You were his creation, Enki is Lucifer, Poseidon, whatever name you want to call him, Pan. It's, the serpent, the red dragon, it's all the same. It doesn't matter. It's just different names. We've had so many names over the existence, and names change all the time. Change people, change tribes, change clans, change races names, and places names. And names change all the time. Same people, different names. Just think about it. If you were, say, having people trying to kill you, like the eagle side of my family, constantly trying to wipe out the serpent side of my family, which is me and my family. So what's the best way to get away from your enemies back in? You just keep changing your name, your tribe everywhere you go. You got a new change. It's not like they come blowing into town and said, hey, you know where Jim Bob is? I don't know no Jim Bob, because they changed their name to Frankie James or some shit. You know what I mean? You get the idea. But, they change their names a lot. Change the names of civilizations. Change the names of armies. Change the name of places. It doesn't matter. Everybody's connected one way or another. We're all connected together regardless, And color doesn't make you a different race. It's more than that. It's DNA that makes you a different race. It ain't got nothing to do color-wise. I told you before. That's just the vitamin D from the sun. So the amount of sun you get depends on your geological location and whatnot when you're involved in it. But I don't know. I know we don't need any of this. I know there's a better time. We used to live free, and we grow our plants, grow our food and vegetables, our fruit, our medicines, and we'd hunt the land, and we'd fish out of the rivers and lakes and seas, and there wasn't no pollution, or wasn't no oil, no vehicles. I think things were better when it was that way. We'd pack up and move from side to land like nomads, or some would just stay in the same area. But I think it was better back then. Everybody's about convenience. Most jobs now, you don't even gotta do anything, just push a button. Kids nowadays, they can't have without a freaking calculator. By God, you're standing in the checkout lane and the darn cash register goes down, you're screwed, because nobody can add anything up without a calculator standing there with their thumbs up their ass, because they don't know how to frickin' add. It's insane. It's the same way all the world is. They think they go to work now. Kids nowadays go to work 6-8 hours, and they think they're working hard. They come home whining about how hard of a day they had. I used to work 16, 18 hours a day every day, sometimes more, When I was younger, I'd go in, like I worked in a factory when I was 18. And the boss actually got in trouble because I'd be pulling double shifts during the week and triple shifts during the weekends. And I was making more money than anybody there because I was putting so much time in, getting overtime and everything. But the boss told me I couldn't do it no more because OSHA got out and was gonna fine him for labor laws. And I'm like, how can it be labor laws? It's my choice to work that. I can see labor laws if you're forcing somebody to work hours, but when it's your own choice and you're capable of doing that, because I've always been, there's been shops and I can prove it, that I've done the work of 12 to 20 people, depending on what type of jobs and stuff it was, you know, and my employer would be like, oh, you know, and it's like, that's just the way I raised, you know. My dad didn't buy no horses. We were the horses. So we were raised how to work hard, you know what I mean? Well, my dad bought horses, but he didn't use them for working. But, you know what I'm saying. Nowadays, everybody, you know, they do a little something. They think they're dying. You know, it's just crazy. And they think they're better than we were. And they don't. They just don't have a clue. They don't understand that they're not. You know, they're weaker. Every generation is getting weaker and weaker, and less intelligent, because that's just, you know. And they're always changing your education even more, and they're changing your history more, and lie about more. It's just nothing but lies, 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 lies. It's just insane. Junk food, and poison, FDA poison. FDA approved poison, because, you know, that shit ain't good for you. You're constantly seeing, oh, it's a recall this and a recall that. And guess who approved it? FDA. You know, another government organization. Imagine that, pushing poison on you. And this box food stuff, that's just stupid. That ain't what I paid my money in out of my check for. You know, is to have people live on box food and stuff that you think they need to have. Food that they don't even probably want to eat. You know, everybody's got different tastes. You can't put the same thing in a little box and woo. You know, you ain't doing nothing. You're just causing more problems. That's all you're doing. That's all you ever do. You're the problem. You're the one we need to get rid of. And that's all there is to it. You know, we need to just come this election, just tell them we don't want any of you guys. We want you all to get out of there. We want you all to step down. We want our military. We need to demand our military. All of us people in the world need to get together. I mean, everybody in America, everybody in America need to get together. I mean, every black man, black woman, Chinese, Japanese, whatever, it doesn't matter, you know, India, or Native American, or Mexican, or whatever race that you supposedly are that's supposed to be different from each other, or, you know, lesbians and gays and bisexuals and cross-dressers and goths and insane clown posse, because I love you guys all so much. And y'all need to come together, because you got a common enemy. Yep, you got a common enemy, and that's these corrupted leaders and politicians and their henchmen, the AKA law enforcement agencies and the kangaroo court systems that only go after the poor people, and corrupted rich people can do whatever they want and walk away scot-free. You know, it's just like they have police officers shooting down little pregnant women, 23-year-old, 5 foot, 90-pound pregnant woman that called them for help, and she was having mental problems, and then the wrong police department responded. It was supposed to be a tribal police department, and some other police department outside the tribal lands came on there and shot her dead, pregnant, in front of 3 of her kids. And then you got four, they got nothing for it. And then they got 4 officers that kidnapped a 13-year-old girl and tied her into a sex swing and repeatedly raped her for 4 days. The judge said it was her fault and threw it out. They didn't even get in trouble for it. You got cops pulling people over, gunning people down in the streets because of their color and they're racist and stuff. You got cops shooting people's dogs and stuff. That's their pets and everything. I mean, come on. The world is going to hell in a handbasket. And you're blaming the devil for it. It ain't the devil doing it. It's your government, your politicians, the corrupt politicians, the corrupt leaders, the corrupt law enforcement, and the corrupt judges, and all the good ones that are out there, because there are some good ones, but the good ones that are out there ain't doing nothing about the bad ones, so they're just as bad, because by their own laws, guilt by association. I mean, you're an accessory. So if you're not stopping it, you're helping it. So, and you're not doing what you're getting paid for, and guess who pays you? In America, you get paid by the United States taxpayer, the citizens. Our money pays for everything. The guy that sweeps the streets all the way up to the President of the United States. That's all our money. And you're stealing our money. We're paying you guys to screw us over and starve us. And it's got to stop. So I'm tired of paying you to starve my fellow citizens. I'm tired of paying you to take medical away from my fellow citizens. I'm tired of paying you to steal my Social Security and their Social Security money. I'm tired of paying you at all. What I do want to do is pay to get rid of you. I want to pay for a one-way ticket to that island, and you can put everything on there you need to ever survive, and you can stay there. And then we'll all be happy. And then the world will be great again. America will be great as soon as we get all the corrupted leaders and politicians out of our country. Then America will be great. And the globe will be great. The global community will be great because we need to do the same thing all over the world. All right. I love you all. You all take care.